Conquering the fear is one of the takeaways from today's podcast with Kelly Peitz.
When you don't have the knowledge, that's what creates the fear. So the more knowledge you can gain on whatever it is you want to do, the less fear you're going to have, the less risk you're going to have.
Kelly will share with us his story of transitioning from the military to the world of franchising and the impact this had on his business as well as his personal life. What do you feel are the top 3 skills that someone needs to be successful in franchising?
The beautiful thing about in franchising is that gives you the blueprint for success, and that's built on systems. So, you have to be willing and able to follow systems. If that's not in your DNA, then you're probably not going to be successful in a franchise. You need to follow systems. That's what makes franchises successful. That's what you're paying for when you invest in a franchise. So having that, following the system is super important. Of course, with any business, you have to be driven. I mean, you got to have that internal fire in your belly to succeed, and be passionate, I guess would be the third thing, about whatever the industry is that you're wanting to look at franchises for. You have to be passionate about it. If you're not passionate about what we do, it's not going to be a good fit for you.
Why did you choose to invest in a franchise? And particularly in this industry?
I was a military officer, helicopter pilot for 24 years. I retired in 2013, and I wanted to start a business right away. Both my brothers owned businesses. I was kind of entrepreneur mindset. The whole time I was in the military, I was actually flipping houses the last several years while I was in the military. And so, I wanted to do that. When I retired in 2013, I had 2 young children, and I started looking at, okay, what could I do? And I really let fear get in the way. I let fear kind of stop me from taking that step, because I had small kids. What was going through my mind? What if I can't make the money to, maintain the lifestyle we're in, and that sort of thing. So I didn't take that step initially. I went right into government work, doing the same job I was doing while I was on active duty, just as a government civilian, for about 5 more years. And I continued to look, though, and then I was introduced to Action Coach. And what I loved about the franchise is it does give you that framework. You don't have to start everything from scratch. You get everything you need to start and run your business day one, which takes a whole lot of effort and time away, right? So you don't have that opportunity cost that you have when you do a startup. When you do a startup, you have to do everything yourself. You have to build your website, your marketing, your collateral, your IP, everything. And all the time it takes to do that, first of all, most people underestimate how long that takes, and they underestimate how much money it costs to do that. And so the whole time they're doing that, they're not doing what generates revenue. And in our industry, that's getting clients and coaching clients, right? So having the ability to start marketing and sales and start acquiring your clients day one out of training is a huge, huge plus. And that's what I saw in that as well. And then the fact that what we do as business coaches and Action Coach, how we change business owners' lives is amazing. And so, that was what really drove me, that passion to help others succeed. And then our culture and our community that Action Coach has was really what put the nail in the coffin for me. It's what made me decide to go forward with Action Coach. Was the community, the global community, and the culture that Action Coach has. And it's very visible during the due diligence. I saw the culture, I saw people living that culture, and that was very refreshing for me. So a big reason why I joined Action Coach and franchise in particular.
What questions should I be asking? If, say, I was interested in acquiring a franchise, key questions I should be asking a franchisor
is going to be different for different people. But, whatever's important to them, because, money is super important to some. Others, it's not so important. It's more about having the passion, doing something that they love. And so, whatever is the most important to them, they've got to ask questions surrounding that to make sure it's going to be the right fit. But I always think there's really 4 things that I think you have to be able to answer yes to determine if any business is the right business. And I ask this to candidates that are coming through along the way. I said, if you can't answer yes to these 4 questions, we're not the right choice for you. And in fact, any business, if you can't answer yes to these, it's probably not the right business. The first one is, are you passionate about what we do? So they need to see that they're passionate about it. So they need to ask questions about that to ensure it's feeding their passion. Number 2, do they have what it takes to be successful? And are they willing to grow and learn to ensure that they do? So, they need to ask questions. What's it take to be successful in Action Coach? And then obviously growing and learning is so much a part of business. It's not so much about what you've done in the past. It's about having the ability to learn and grow and having that fire in your belly to succeed as a business owner, and being willing to do that and willing to follow systems that the franchise has to make you successful or help make you successful. Third question is that, about giving what they need. Can it, is this opportunity going to give them everything they need financially, business-wise, help them achieve their goals in those respects? So they need to ask questions around that. Will it help them achieve their goal financially, business-wise, personally, right? Will it get them where they want to be for them and their family at this point in their life? They need to look at that when they're going through the due diligence. And then the last question is, are they willing to live our culture and hold others accountable with an Action Coach to live to those standards as well? And so I think if you're looking in a business or a franchise, you really need to look at the culture of that organization. And does that fit with you? If the culture doesn't fit, it's not going to work. It's just like any business. Culture is everything. And if it's not a good culture fit, you don't do it.
Is there anything else that you would like to share about the opportunity, if I was presented in front of you, to say once over again about coming on board with Action Coach?
I think fear plays a key role in everybody. I talk to candidates all the time. They are excited when they first find out we do the model review. They got a lot of excitement. And then typically when it's time for them to get the FDD, the fear really starts to kick in. That franchise disclosure document is a huge legal document, and it's a little intimidating, but it is just that. It's a legal document required by the government, and so they need to understand what it means and what it is. So understanding that you're going to have fear and excitement in your journey to making a decision, at some point that fear is may start to kind of peak. And you might have people, outside voices telling you that to make you doubt yourself. Family, friends, are you crazy? Are you leaving that job to take a risk of starting a business, that type of thing. So you got to have belief in yourself and know that the system works. You do due diligence for a reason. And you've gone through a 4 to 6 week process. And you get to that 80% mark, like Brad says this, you get to that 80% mark and you have to make a decision. Because if you try to get 100% sure, you're never going to get there. So that last 20%, all you're doing is finding reasons why you shouldn't do it. So when you get to that 80% mark where it's 80% right, you make a decision to do it, because you're never going to be 100% for sure that it's right, probably till you get through with training and you start your business. I think that's super important.
I hope you have gained some valuable insights into the world of franchising. Please make sure to like and subscribe and share with your network. Also, click the link below to learn more about franchising with Action Coach.